So hi everyone, I have decided to start my first review series and I will be reviewing the TLC hit show with all the mess, 90 Day Fiance. So I've just kind of started watching this entire series. I've heard about it before, but I decided that this series needs a review. I don't see a lot of persons reviewing it and I find it highly entertaining, highly interesting too, to see the relationship dynamics. But let me jump into my review. So this is what, season 6 of this hit show. I've watched the episode already, but I'll be going through the clips again so that I don't kind of miss anything. So this season should be good. There are some very interesting couples, some couples that just look like, are these people serious right now? Is this like just for play, or is this a real thing? You know, are they just wanting to be on TV because, you know, everybody wants to be a star, the whole chase at fame, or are these people genuinely in love? So I've seen just about probably one couple that I think are genuinely in love with each other. The others, not too sure. I think some people are in La La Dreamland. But I really like thus far. I like Fernanda and what's his name? Fernanda, the Mexican girl, and the guy, the American guy. Yeah, I like that couple. I'll tell you their names as I go along, just bear with me. Colt and Larissa, kind of crazy. Like everybody's saying Norman Bates, American Psycho. I wouldn't go that far, but he is definitely lacking in social skills. So let's jump into the clip. So the first person that we're seeing now is Colt and Larissa. So you have Lita, who is from Indonesia. She's from Jakarta, and she's moving here to America with this ex-military guy. Asuelo and Kelani. Okay, Asuelo is a sweetheart. Kelani, she's gonna come across as being very mean this season. I can see it already. So that's the girl that has the baby. And her dad used to tell her to date only like white men or Jewish men. Kind of weird, right? But because he is from Samoa as well. And then we have the guy from the guy with the Russian girlfriend. So they like just dated for like a couple weeks, and then like she got pregnant. Talk about just one time. That's a child for life. He's kind of, they're definitely just young. I don't know if they can really make it. I mean, it was never anything invested. It was just like a casual dating thing. I know they have a child, so that should be very interesting to see. Straight out the gate, it doesn't look like they'll have the odds are not necessarily stacked in their favor. And then we have the young Barbie looking girl and the Jamaican guy. Full disclaimer, I'm Jamaican. That guy is using that girl. He is juvenile to the core. I don't see how he is any at all ready for a relationship. That's Jay and Ashley. Even if he likes her, the type of mentality that he has and wanting to be out there and be with all different kind of women, that's not going to help Ashley. What I find very weird about Ashley is the fact that Ashley has been engaged twice. Ashley walked away from those engagements, and then you're going to meet a guy that from a foreign country who you hardly ever met. You don't have any real experiences with him. You guys have never lived together. He's never spent a day around your, you know, your kids, and you're gonna decide to take his proposal. All my friends have saying that she's dick whipped. So the episode starts off with, so that's my little run through. I'm sorry if I missed out anybody. The episode starts off with Colt and his mom. So from last episode we learned that he is dating Larissa, and Larissa is from Brazil. Larissa, my humble opinion, Larissa doesn't like Colt. Larissa is enamored by the idea of dating an American man, and he's gonna give her this, she's gonna move to America and she's gonna have this rock star life. So she just met him online and it's just kind of, okay, I'm gonna meet an American and I'm gonna go to the great US of A and I'm gonna be a I'm gonna live like life is in the movies. So she doesn't really like Colt, but she kind of messed up in her head as well. Colt has serious issues in terms of social skills. I can't imagine a grown man feeling so comfortable with living at home that he hasn't tried to make it on his own and is still living with his mom, and the weird relationship that he has with his mother is just, they probably need to seek counseling or something. It's very weird. He's a man child, really is. And then getting into their story, Larissa comes and she's like, oh, I thought you would have brought me flowers. His emotional responses are so retarded, so very retarded. Like, this person, you seemingly, he's like almost like a computer. I know he's a software engineer, so maybe he's imitating his work. I'm, you know, trying to behave like an algorithm instead of like a real person. You just show up at the airport. This lady has left her life back in Brazil, and you just show up with your empty hands and a smile. I can understand how she'd have felt like, oh, he's not being very charming, he's not being very nice. I can definitely understand where she's coming from. Not saying that I believe that her feelings for him are genuine, because I think she's a little bit cuckoo, but why not show up without even one rose? It's so weird. So his mom too is an enabler of his very weird, or lack thereof, development. So they get into the car and dude has no AC. He lives in the desert. She's obviously floored by the heat. She didn't anticipate that it would be so hot, because she's like, oh my god, it's hotter than in Brazil. And she comes from a tropical country or somewhere where they have intense heat or humidity, and she is just thrown by the heat in the desert. And I can totally understand why she would be finding it very weird for him to live in the desert and have no air conditioner in the car. Like, seriously? And then he, in a very tense and almost irritated voice, says to her, wind your window down, or put your window down. I mean, sir, why would you either not fix the air conditioner before she gets here? It's like he's slow. He is not all his marbles are in that basket at all. He's not the brightest crayon in the box in terms of social skills. He may be a very smart man in terms of what he does for a living, and the jury is out on that. But to not have AC in your car, and then the mother obviously has attachment issues. I'm not quite sure what happened with Colt's father, but she has just thrown all of her life into her kids. I'm always against that. Parents, stop living their lives and just throw all of their lives into kids. Your children are not obligated to you. You went on God's veranda to find them. They didn't ask to be in this world. They are not supposed to be living their lives for you, and you should allow them to grow up. You will die one day. The surest thing in life is death. You will die. Your children need to learn how to function in relationships and in the world without you kind of coddling them or not allowing them the space to be free. Let them go and learn to be free and learn to be an adult. So he is very weird. It's just all very weird with them. Not my favorite couple, to say the least. I still think I don't think Colt and Larissa will be getting married, and I think Larissa will be going back home. That's just my early prediction. So on to the next couple, Jonathan and Fernanda. I like Jonathan and Fernanda. Jonathan and Fernanda remind me of Anissa and George. And Anissa and George are actually one of my favorite couples. They're a mess, but they remind me of Anissa and George. Jonathan has a lot of growing up to do. I think Fernanda is a beautiful girl. I think she's very fiery, all of that. I think women that are not American a lot of times tend to be very fiery. I think like white American men tend to be either very drawn to it or can't take the intensity that these foreign women sometimes have. I'm a Jamaican, I know what a fiery woman is like, but to know us is to love us. And Jonathan is obviously drawn to her. She is beautiful. He did buy her those boobs. I'm like, go Jonathan. And she loves them too. But I don't think she's a gold digger. I think she is very smart and quick young lady, and Jonathan is handsome, so she's drawn to him too, and she is caught in this fairy tale of moving to America and finding this lovely man and getting married to. But Jonathan has another thing coming if he thinks that Fernanda is gonna take his bullshit. She is a smart girl. She knows that men sometimes are less than honest, and she's very fearful of the fact of him not being fully prepared or ready for a relationship. Yes, she does have some insecurities, and I think some of that is due to her age, but I think Jonathan and Fernanda will make it. I just think that they need to communicate better, and Jonathan needs to grow up, and Fernanda needs to try to learn to manage some of her insecurities. But again, some of that might be cultural, and some of it might be due to her age as well. It's ridiculous that he had her come to the house and there was underwear still in the drawer. I mean, it's just showing you how he's not yet out of that mind frame of being this bachelor playboy. And I can definitely understand how Fernanda would be upset, especially if she told him beforehand, like, I just need you to clean the place and be ready for, you know, me becoming a part of your life. But my prediction is that Fernanda and Jonathan will stay together. Asuelo and Kelani was just in a state of being rebellious. She wasn't finding a man, she wasn't on her relationships weren't working, and she went off and she found this man. She's drawn to that other side of her culture that she didn't necessarily grow up with, and that's her dad's side of the family. And when she met Asuelo, it was more like, oh, you know, he's kind, he's generous, he's all of that, and I ain't finding no man back home, so let me just be with this guy. And I think a part of her is very controlling as well. So she's now in a situation where she has a child, and the baby is gorgeous. He looks like a perfect cross between Kelani and Asuelo. Sweet kid. He almost has a grown man face, but a very sweet kid. Kelani and Asuelo won't work out unless Kelani is able to be a little bit more considerate. Asuelo is leaving from a country where he is not used to all of these trappings. Did you see his eyes when he noticed that she had to use a keeper to get into her house? I mean, come on. He is so shocked or in amazement at even the roadway. She has to understand or try to relate to the fact that he is in an entirely new place, that he has never seen any of these things before, or he doesn't have an appreciation or even a very good understanding of this type of life. It's very fast, and where he's coming from, he feeds pigs, his house doesn't even have walls. I mean, it's very open. It's a much more slower and simpler pace of life, and she's asking of him, and her parents and her family are being ridiculous as well. They are just absolutely unable to relate or even try to understand where this guy is coming from. And I think a lot of it has to do with her and what she says, because this is the first time I'm realizing in this episode that she said that she told her sister that Asuelo cheated on her. Now, I don't believe that they had any commitment in the beginning stages of this relationship. She would come and visit and they would sleep together, and she got pregnant because she was out here busting it wide and throwing it in a circle, and she got pregnant. And part of her probably wanted to, because if it was a situation where she was highly obsessed with not getting pregnant, a control freak like her would be on her contraceptives, knowing that she's going there and sleeping with dude. So she knew the type of game she was playing and the type of risk she was taking, and I think they're just completely unfair to this guy. While I understand it was kind of cringy that he did the dance in the airport, it came from a good place. I think he is a simple man, and not simply in terms of like dumb, but just in terms of what he's used to, with a kind heart, and he's almost juvenile in this state because he's never grown up in this type of environment, so it's all so new and so very foreign to him. He is like a kid going to an amusement park for the first time, or somebody seeing snow, or going to a country with skyscrapers for the first time. That's exactly what he is. And he is just different culturally. It's a big change culturally, and she needs to express more empathy and consideration for the fact that he's not used to any of this. My prediction, she's gonna be miserable, and she's gonna make him miserable, and she's gonna break his spirit. If she's not prepared to make the compromises and be a more understanding partner, they ain't gonna work out. But this is my early prediction. Cringy what he did in the airport, but it definitely came from a good place. So the next couple up is Jay and Ashley. Ashley, girl, don't let Dick ruin your life, girl. I know what you're going through. Good Dick can mess up your life. But that's another story for another day. Ashley's pretty, but Ashley's weird in that I can't quite understand why she would choose to be with Jay. Jay is so much younger than her, so all I'm gonna say is the Dick. She's gonna try and make it work with Jay for as long as she can. They'll be back on 95 Fiance, what next? And they ain't gonna be together, or they're gonna be very miserable because Jay is going to cheat on her. Homeboy is a playboy, that's all he is, and he is just doing this for the 2 years for that green card, and he gonna be out. He might get her pregnant again. She's fertile. He can't have kids. He probably gonna get her pregnant so that he can keep the tie with her. But we'll see more of how that unfolds. And she's gonna try to tell herself everything about, oh, he's younger, so he has to get it out of. No, girl, he a playboy. That's what he is. More about Colt. Don't want to see anything about Colt. Is kind of weird. He's not kind of weird. He's very weird. Kelani's family needs to be a little bit more considerate. He came into the house, he said hi to the mom, and she just turns like she didn't see him. I think they're rude. I think Kelani is rude. I think her mom is rude. I think her sister is rude. I think they're all rude and entitled. They're gonna be one of my least favorite families. Least favorite. They're just unreasonable. Baby's cute, and she has to try to teach him or try to transition him into being a dad. She is totally unreasonable. It's like he must just come in, he must pay mortgage, he must pay bills, he must take care of the baby. He can't learn how to do everything overnight. And they should have had a conversation about what the expectations of what he will do while he's there is, and just ridiculous. My favorite couple, Fernanda and Jonathan. I think she handled herself well. I like the fact that she spoke in her language and he was able to express to his friends what she was saying. And he was kind of being supportive, you know, being there, not leading the conversations, watching, maintaining eye contact with her. I think they actually really like each other, and I hope they work out. I think his friend with the blonde hair was really nice. She's like, oh my gosh, Fernanda is my new friend, is my new best friend. She was like totally wanting to get to meet Fernanda. So for the most part, I'll give his friends, you know, a chance. It was kind of awkward to have such an intense conversation so soon. But, you know, I guess that's how they felt that they would break the ice, to kind of test the waters, to push to see, you know, what kind of person she is or how she'll handle the situation. And I think she handled herself pretty well. And I know that a conversation is not necessarily the easiest one to have. One of my least favorite couples, Lida, what's his name? I can't remember his name right now. I'll tell you when I remember. And her son. So he really chose Lida too. He chose Lida too because Lida has a son. He doesn't have a son. Like, imagine he's this very macho ex-military guy. He's older. He's already thrown himself into the role of being a dad because that's what he really does well, and that's what he's passionate about. Her sister is there like, I'm gonna see where this man is gonna take my sister, and if it's not okay, she's not saying. What he doesn't realize is that Lida, I think Lida is her name, she's gonna be miserable. She's gonna run, even if she marries him within the 2 years before the green card is up, because she has the option of going back home and her family is wealthy and they're not gonna tell her no. She's gonna leave his ass in the middle of the night because there are things that he's hiding from her in terms of just how basic his life is in the US that she's not gonna be able to put up with. She is a pampered child. She didn't even raise her child really on her own. She's always used to somebody taking care of her, and in some respect there's a daddy-daughter kind of relationship going on here with him and her. That's very weird, but I guess it's stereotypical that, you know, men with his profile kind of like women that kind of depend on them hand and foot, you know. It's kind of weird. They're kind of creepy. It's not necessarily the age, but it's in their personalities and their general dispositions. He doesn't have any money, and homegirl can't. I've seen the look on her face already. She's not gonna be able to transition, and her sister is being really honest, and the sister is really like a reality check. None of them are gonna want to hear it, but that's the truth. Jay and Ashley, I've said what I've said about that interview. Homeboy is gonna remember certain things that he needs to remember. This guy that is going all the way to Russia for the girl, I don't remember his name. I think his name is Evan. Is it Evan or Steven? He's missed his dad a lot. He's embraced this fact that she's having a Steven. That they're so very young. Ugh. I think his grandma was decent. Nice family, but he's a bit of an arrogant guy. I don't think I'm gonna like him very much. Their relationship may be able to work because they're so young, but it's gonna be a little bit sad for them because it's a lot. It's a lot to ask of two young people. It's a lot. It's a lot. I hope that they're able to actually have a good relationship as parents, and then hopefully that will help them raising this child together. Larissa and Colt is just sad. Like, why would you take her to see the Las Vegas sign in the middle of the day? Really, why would you? Why would you take her to the strip at night so that she has a nice appreciation and feel a little bit more comfortable, like, oh, this is nice, it's not just a backwoods desert place that he's taking me to, away from all of my family and friends. But again, I told you Larissa is a little bit cuckoo, and Colt has definitely flown the cuckoo's nest. He just crazy. So my laptop died. Overall, this season is gonna be a mess. Looking forward to it. So these are my predictions on who I think will stay together. I'm really cheering for John and Fernanda. I like those two, so I'm hoping that my prediction comes through with them. They're like a mix of George and Anissa, and Pedro and Chantel, who both couples that I really like, and I'm looking forward to it. So join me as we dissect the mess each week. I'm gonna see what happens next week when, you know, all of these people get into the space where they're either where they're gonna start cohabiting, because we're in the stage now where people are cohabiting. So we show you the lead up to the 90 days. So now people are cohabiting, and we're gonna see how that works out, because that's where things are about to get interesting, and where you kind of really see the what the person is about at their core. So like, comment, subscribe. I really want to hear your comments and feedback on this show. I'm looking forward to the 90 days of mess. And yeah, let me know if there are any other shows that you'd like, or if there are any past couples in previous seasons that you'd like to talk about and do an update on. So I'm gonna be trying to make this a weekly upload on either late Sunday nights or on Monday evenings. And yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. Oh, I should have told you. It's your girl Danielle, and we'll do this every week.